Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to our virtual happy hour. I am so excited. I'm going to give an official introduction in just a minute. I'm going to give a chance for everybody to log on. Those that are going to join us, and if you're watching a recording, you'll know this in the future. There's a link at the top of the post. It says StreamYard. You need to click on StreamYard and give StreamYard permission to show your name. So when I am reading your comments and your posts to our special guests, they will know who is commenting. I want to make sure we tell them who is out there saying hello and commenting. So thank you for joining us this evening, everyone. I'm so excited. Welcome to Virtual Happy Hour. Tonight, I am just so humbled and excited to have a group that I have loved for a very long time and been listening to a very long time. And evidently, you all have too, based on the comments of the posts we've been hearing all week. So I'd like to officially welcome the sensational, the remarkable, the talented After Seven. That's all I'm gonna say. After Seven. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Tanya.
How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody is popping in and saying hi to you. And guys, tell for our watchers and listeners, tell us where you're from. So if I'm reading, I can tell them that as well. I'd like to officially welcome you to the Fans of Unsung Virtual Happy Hour. We thank you. We're also going live on your page so they can see us there. So we thank you for joining us.
Awesome.
We're going to have some fun tonight.
Nice.
This was started because everybody's on lockdown.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's bring some happiness, a happy hour to the fans by having some of their favorite artists come and just chat with them a little bit. What I'll be doing is, of course, reading their comments and posts, but also interjecting some questions that I've gotten through the week from people too, okay?
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
I want, if you don't mind, first just introduce yourself. Everybody knows, but still just introduce yourselves by name and whatever else you might want to say as an introduction. I'll leave that up to you. So wherever you want to start, you want me to pick one, eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
Go ahead. Your call. Your show.
Okay, you're talking, Kavon. Go for it.
Okay, there it is. Simple as that. Hey, I'm Kavon Edmonds. Been with the group since its inception. I'm blessed to be able to do what it is that I do, and so thankful that we have fans who still appreciate the music that we create, and hopefully we impact your lives in a positive way.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
Keith?
Well, hey, fans, this is Keith Mitchell. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, currently presiding in Hotlanta. And again, I've been a part of After Seven since its inception, along with Kevon and our third member recently deceased, Melvin Edmonds. But it's a blessing to still be here, to be able to deliver the kind of music that we love and cherish. And we appreciate you guys who tune in this evening to get a little piece of what's going on in our lives.
Thank you, Keith. And Danny.
Hey, I am Danny McLean. I hail from Cambridge, Massachusetts, by way of now I'm in Hotlanta, as Keith said. And yeah, I'm the new member. I'm the new member taking place of the legendary Melvin Edmonds. And it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be in the group. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, thank you all so much for that brief intro. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for those of you that are tuning in, feel free to write your questions or post your questions and I'll try and read them. The comments are going so fast. I'm hoping I can get to them. Right now, they're just everybody's saying hello and how much they love you all. I want you to, and it's going crazy. I want you all to know. So
That's awesome.
Okay.
everybody, much love from Georgia. Big fan. Rest in peace, Melvin. Kavon, come move to Atlanta so all you will be here. I was about to say the same thing. You the one.
Well, I used to be in Atlanta. That's all I can say.
Okay. Oh, okay. Much love from Detroit. Name Edmund sounds like you from Musical Roots. Okay, that's from Eric Haley. Indianapolis, Indiana in the house. Hello, hey. Okay, so I'm gonna get back down. So let's start here. I always like to start from the beginning. So take me back, way back when you first found out you like to sing, maybe before After Seven, like how this all got started, just the beginning. So each one of you will probably have to answer this briefly individually. So tell me where the singing actually started, when you found, oh, I kind of like to sing, and where it all, before the after 7 days in the very beginning. So let's keep going in the same order. Come on, I'll start with
Right.
Okay. That would be early childhood in a household full of 6 boys. And yeah, my mother and father, they played music in the house all the time. Back in the day, some of you youngsters, well, some of you folks may not know what a LP 33 or 78 is, but we do. And music just played a lot in our household. And, it's something I think I found that I enjoyed doing, but I didn't know that I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People just do things and you don't necessarily know if you sound good. As I got older and when I was in a junior high, I used to just go around the hallway singing the commercials that you'd hear on TV.
Okay.
And or I mean just the craziest quirky little things, but it was because I just had a joy for singing. And not that I was necessarily good at it, but I enjoyed it. And that was really kind of my first taste in watching my brother Melvin. He was really the one who kind of set the tone in our family in terms of this is something that you could pursue if you so chose to, and we didn't have an example of anything like that prior to then. So, that's a little glimpse of what was going on back in the day.
And you said it was 6 boys, right?
6 boys. Don't know how that worked out for mom and dad, but it was they got it done. They got it done.
And did everybody sing? I just want to ask that question.
It was really those who to be singers professionally. We really truly had a love for it, but I would say that practically everybody in my family could carry a note.
Okay.
Maybe one person. We won't name that person.
Okay.
But for the most part, everybody, had a sensibility about music. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. So Keith, how did it start for you?
Well, for me, it started pretty early. I was at in a Pentecostal church called Zion Tabernacle at the age of about 7. And our whole family was saved and sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost back then. And at that point, there was 3 girls and my brother and myself, my mom and dad. And I was just this little kid who wasn't too shy. They put me in front of audiences to read books of the Bible and Christmas plays and, different things in the church. And that evolved into the 5 of us as kids became a little group in church called the Stars of Zion. And of course, I was the baby in the group. And we sang in the church, different programs. They'd ask us to come up and perform. So that's where it got started. That turned into me directing the young adult choir. I had the little white robe. Everybody else had a red robe. And
you like those colors.
Again, I wasn't stage fright. That kind of got away from me at an early age and enabled me to continually be in front of audiences. But that evolved from that to going to school, kind of like Kevon, singing on the way to school. People telling you, boy, you can't sing. Well, you shut up. You just always singing, and wasn't really trying to do nothing because in Indiana, the roads to get out of Indiana in a singing career wasn't really something that you fantasized about. You just had a love for melody and emulating what you hear. So that's what I did until our college days.
Okay. Thank you, Keith. And Danny.
Hey.
The best for last. How to get started
for me, I guess my parents always had music around. My dad played a bit of organ. He was always involved in the church. And my mom, she loved her some Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Johnny Mathis. So she would always play that. I mean, from the music videos, watching, all my favorite performers like Michael Jackson and, I guess Lionel Richie was the first song that I ever sang, kind of thing. So they tell me, because I don't remember So apparently I always go around talking about all night long, all night long.
Okay.
You know, but that was how that started. By first grade, I had my first performance, and that's when I knew. At that moment, that's when I knew that I wanted to do this seriously. So seriously, I was trying to convince everybody to put me on Star Search, but that didn't work out. Nonetheless, you know, just I kept plugging away for the passion of it. You know, music was therapy at the same time. Again, my parents kept playing music around the house. And, you know, by college, I went to Berklee College of Music and pursued my my interest in music to, you know, further understand the industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, so those of you that are joining us, I thank you. Go ahead and start asking your questions. We got all the hellos in there. And they're all over. Malaysia, I'm seeing. I saw Detroit. I saw Indianapolis. I'm everywhere, guys. They're tuning in from everywhere. So we thank you for joining us. This is your opportunity to ask questions to After 7. So please go ahead and post your questions, and I'll be happy to read them for you. In the meantime, somebody's saying, I hope you talk about the IU
Soul Review.
You want to talk about that right quick? Because I'm not familiar.
Keith and I know about that. You don't know nothing about that.
You want to comment on that? I don't.
Indiana University Soul Review was.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I met Keith. I met Keith down at Indiana University, and we both performed in a accredited course called the IU Soul Review, which taught theory, composition, and the performance of music for those who could. I guess you had to qualify, is what it was, to see if you could be in one of these configurations. There was a male and female group, an all-female group, and an all-male group. And Keith and I, here goes Keith, we're in a group called the Love Men.
Ooh.
Love Men.
Wait a minute.
We were.
Hey.
We were. So, you know, but it was headed up by Dr. Portia K. Malsby, and Dr. Herman Hudson was the person who actually started it off. But Dr. Portia K. Malsby was the one who cracked the whip, who really whipped everything into shape for us. And really, it was a foundation, I would say, for both Keith and I to really have a greater sensibility about what it was to perform, the work ethic that was required in order for you to deliver a live performance, a live stage show to different audiences. And we had the opportunity to travel around the country and do just that. So IU Soul Review.
Thank you for sharing that. That was a good segue to how I was going to ask how you all met and got together. So you pretty much just answered that. College, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so that's where After 7 formed.
Well, not quite.
Well, not literally formed from that. That's where Kevin and myself forged a friendship, and we fell in love with the performance of music.
Okay.
It was during the summertime that when school was out, we took what we had learned in the Soul Review and brought it home to Faith and Melvin.
Okay.
Melvin became part of it. It turned out to be, you know, Melvin, Keith, Kevin, you know what I'm saying? And so we sang in gong shows and singing contests.
Again, y'all don't know that about no gong shows.
Look, Kevin, you're talking about the fans of Unsung. They know about the gong shows.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
The Unsungeteers, where y'all at? They know about some gong shows. Trust me. Unsungeteers. So. Yes. I don't know, Danny. You know about gong show? I don't know.
I'm learning now.
I'm just saying. I do know. So I'm going to kind of move around because Danny's part of the conversation. So tell me how we know. We'll talk about Melvin a little bit later, but I want to know how you found Danny. Can we jump to that so we know how After 7 now was formed, but we know some things transpired. But where did the connection come with Danny?
We we've been doing this for plus 30 years, and a lot of what we did came out of the city of Indianapolis. You know, Face, of course, the members of After 7, and of course Daryl Simmons, who who was kind of like the silent partner out of Indianapolis, but was also a childhood friend who grew up with us. And he and Kenny were practically connected at the hip as they grew up from group to group and on into doing major productions and songwriting as they had. But Daryl had the opportunity to have done some work with Danny McClain.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was my go-to. I kind of felt like it was we were at a juncture where, you know, it was time to maybe make a change and to try to grow. And I reached out to Daryl Simmons, and he gave me some recommendations. And but I knew right away when I heard Danny and I saw his skill level, performance-wise, what he did on stage, I felt like he was our guy. I just felt that, and, you know, me and Keith looked him over and, you know, studied and said, you know, hey, okay, I think this guy could fit for us. And so he does.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
So did Danny audition, or did you just study tapes?
No, he didn't audition. His audition was what he's been doing most of his adult life. I saw it, you know, it was, you know, someone memorialized it. You were able to see it on Facebook and so on and so forth, and just to see what this guy was capable of doing, what his demeanor was, his stage presence, and his spirit. You could see that come across as well. And I think all those things were really important factors for us as finding someone to fit the style and flavor of this act. So
Danny, that's quite the compliment. So
yes.
How did it feel? Tell me how that felt when you got that call that said, hey, After 7 wants you to join them.
Yo, all right. So I got the phone call, and I don't know where I was. Usually I'm nearby a phone. So I got the phone call, and it was a message. So I was like, okay. I checked the message. It's like, hey, this is Kevon. Everyone's like, yeah. Lying.
Right, exactly.
This ain't no dang Kevon Evans. And there's something told me, it was like, not everybody named Kevon Evans is gonna call me. So I picked up the phone and called him back, and he said it again. And of course, I've been listening to After 7 for a long time, so I was familiar with his voice. At that moment, I already knew it was him. And I know he could hear the geekness in my voice, and I try to reserve myself, but that didn't work. Nonetheless, he told me that he was looking for a singer, and he had me in mind, and from there we just took it. You know, I wasn't gonna say no.
I guess not. Yeah. Okay.
But one thing I wanted to inject that was important is that Danny's personality, his commitment to the craft of music, which obviously he garnered a lot of experience from what he learned in school and what he's done on his own. But his personality, his hard work ethic, his determination to get it right and to fix it, the easygoing personality that he brings to the group makes it easy for us to come together and do what we do. And that's difficult when you have two people who have been together for 30+ years, to bring in a new person of Danny's character and personality and skill set. It's not easy to do. So we know in the back of our minds that God has a lot to do with bringing him here. We appreciate being here.
Thanks. That's wonderful. Yeah, that is awesome, Danny. Those are quite the compliments for you.
I mean, yeah, coming from kings like them, yeah, it means a lot, because I've been listening to After 7 for a long time. So
yes,
that really hit home for me. You know, so I appreciate that.
Well, thank you all for sharing that. I'm going to try and get some of these questions in, and they'll probably be all over the place, but it's okay because people get mad at me sometimes if I don't get their questions. So we're going to get them in. And those that are joining us, be sure you click on StreamYard and give them permission to show your name. After 7 can go back and look at this whole feed and see who's saying what and can respond and reply themselves after this. So make sure right now you can show us your name. If I read it, I can read it. So here's one. So are there any other classics that you would like to cover since you did such an awesome job of Sarah Smile?
Wow. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that would be, but typically After Seven has been known to cover a song on each project. It's just kind of happened that way. Not every project, but every now and then we do cover a song. And I, for one, at this point, I don't know what that is. There may be one, but it's got to speak to us. And at the same time, covering a song for us, it's important for us to be able to make it our own. To go and emulate somebody and not really take charge of a song and make it special in your own way. I don't think it's worth the time of doing. If you can't find a song that speaks to you in a way that makes you really want to deliver it in just your way, pass. But at this point, unless Keith got something on tap, I don't know what what we're looking at.
I mean, we never. I don't think we would ever turn our ears away from a song that spoke to what After Seven is and what we represent, which is singing about love and relationships. And there's a plethora of melodies that we grew up singing to. So the door is open, but do we know one particular one right now? No, but as Kevin said earlier, we kind of tend to find something when we come out with a new album, we kind of bring something with it. So who knows? In the near future, maybe something will come to us.
We'll be pleasantly surprised.
Danny, you're from Boston, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What about?
So there's the one song. I don't know if we please come to Boston for the springtime. You know that song?
No, I don't.
No, okay. Well, I guess we won't be covering that one either.
Oh, Danny, you gotta go do some homework when it's
I do.
I can't help you because I don't know either. You got me on that one. So Michelle, I hope I'm pronouncing your name. Washington says, what gifts or interests outside of music do you all have, hobbies, etc.? If you weren't performers, what would you be doing? And I'll let, if each one of you want to answer that. I won't make Kevin go first.
Thank you. Don't make me go first. I'm going to copy somebody else. Go ahead.
Danny, I'm making you go first.
All right. I like teaching. Actually, I found a passion for teaching. I mean, especially when you got kids that are passionate about what they do, you can tell there are some kids in the classroom that just, they might not be into it, but you don't know if they got, outside problems, insecurities, whatever it is. I was there to help make their journey into learning fun. And I didn't realize I was into it until I got into it. And when I did, those same kids, we ended up keeping in contact through Facebook and all that, now that they're in college and stuff like that. So, I found my passion through that. If I wasn't doing that, I don't know, I'd be a what do you call that? Instructor at a gym or something. I don't know.
Trainer, fitness instructor, trainer,
a trainer, yeah, personal trainer or something.
Okay. So you work out, and that's another hobby. Then it sounds like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The willpower.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Well, for me, I've done a mirage of things over the course of my life, from selling insurance and selling investments. I had a barbecue restaurant here in Atlanta, so I'm passionate about cooking and preparing food for myself as well as others.
I'll be waiting for my invitation, Keith. I'm in Atlanta as well.
That's right. You in Kennesaw, so we might break you off something. We can do a little. When we had some rehearsals in Atlanta, I'll cook a little spread.
Don't be teasing me.
Oh, he ain't teasing.
I ain't teasing either. I like food. Good food.
Good food. No, it's good food. It was the name of the restaurant was Smokehouse Ribs, and there are several people, hundreds of people in Atlanta who've experienced my food. Keith Sweat was one of my, like every other day customers. So, and he had a business around the corner. He had a club around the corner from the restaurant, but Keith found his way to my spot, 2 or 3 times a week. So that kind of says, a little bit about the food. But outside of that, I closed that restaurant in like 2002. Kind of got tired of the grind of the business. I love the cooking in the business and the accolades from it, but the grind every day was kind of killing me. So I got in the construction business. I developed a construction company. So I think artsy people who have, art skills are all multi-talented. And it's just a matter of where you want to put your hand on different things. So the cooking of the food, remodeling homes, taking things that are old and raggedy and turn them into brand new, that is exhilarating to me a lot of times as it is singing on a hit record or dancing on a stage. I get a joy and a rush off of each. But the music, I think, is just something that I can't get away from. It's been with me my whole life. But I'm passionate about pretty much anything that I put the hands on.
Okay.
I love.
Okay. And we're gonna move on to Kevon for that. Well, thank you, Keith. Kevon.
You're welcome.
I've been pretty easygoing. I find that after doing this thing for over 30 years, we're not toasting yet, homie. Slow down. But over 30 years, you find different things that that appeal to you. But I tell you, there's nothing like the joy of being able to be in the same house, under the same roof, with your child, and be able to nurture them and watch them grow on a daily basis. It's one of the most fulfilling things for me. It is a great joy, sometimes challenging, but not nearly as challenging as I think it's going to be down the road. But, I love the opportunity to spend quality time and to pour into my daughter the love of God and education. Just, she's like a little sponge right now. I'm also on the side as far as hobbies are concerned. She's not a hobby, let me be clear. But I am married to Miss Project, and Miss Project, we are now involved in beekeeping. So now we're doing some
really. Wow.
Yes, really. So these are some of the new things that I'm doing. So it catch me 6 months from now, I'll have something else going on.
Okay. Where are the bees? Are they at your house?
They are in my house. Exactly right.
Seriously? Okay.
I got a beekeeper suit and everything. See what I'm saying?
So you need to take a picture of that for me. I need to see that. I want to. I'm sure your fans would too, but I'm trying to.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay. I want to see that, Kevon. I'm going to take you up. That's very interesting. I would have never guessed that one. Beekeeper.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either, but like I said, I'm making this project, so that's what happens.
All right. And tell us also how old your daughter is, so everybody knows.
She is 8 years old.
If she's hiding somewhere.
8.5. She'll tell you 8.5. So let me be clear.
She did tell me that. She did say, don't forget the half. So if she comes around, she could poke her head in. I'm sure everybody would like to say hi to her if she happens to sneak around.
She's not within earshot, but if she was, trust me.
Okay. Well, I thank you all for that. That's a great question. Christina Barnett, Danny, this is for you. Yes, Danny did a very good job during the performance back in February in Akron, Ohio at Tangier. So giving you some love.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, they did good for us. They were real.
I heard you all sing in Nashville. Did a great job. A beekeeper, yeah. I with bees. Okay, we started a whole thing on that.
Okay.
New Zealand is in the house. Somebody, Juicy Lucy. Shout out to everyone here.
Juicy Lucy.
New Zealand,
What's
yeah,
up?
that's awesome. Okay. I'm waiting for my date and reschedule. Okay.
So I'm reading, and it says that my wife posted pictures the other day. So there you have it.
Yes. Ready or not. Okay, so I can go ahead with my questions, people. So if you have questions, feel free to keep posting. We're not gonna. You all might have to come back because I already know we're not gonna get to everything. I could tell. So let's talk about when was the aha moment? I made it. I always ask that question. When did you realize I made it. It could have been, I always ask when you first heard radio, what did you do? Where were you? Or was there another moment you said, I actually made it? Was there somebody you met that made you go, I made it?
Wow. Do you know, Keith?
I don't know. I would, that's
a tough one.
That's a heck of a question. Because I mean,
well, do you remember hearing
humble.
your song on the radio for the first time?
Well,
yourself.
I mean, yeah, that's that. I don't really call it I made it moment. That was a exhilarating moment that to hear ourselves and the work that we've done, the sacrifices that were made to get to that point to where the song hit the radio. That was a major feeling, but it wasn't the I made it feel. I made it is, I think it's almost, we haven't got to that I made it point. We've been successful in the business. We've had longevity in the business.
Yes, you have.
And when you speak to that longevity and the consistency of the love that people have for what we do, I guess I'd have to say we made it from that point of view.
Okay.
But collectively, I made it is, when you've made a plethora of stacks of money. But I think it's not always about the money. It's about, we've gotten to do what most people labor for in their lives. We've gotten to do something that we love and that we're passionate about. And to have gotten to do that 30 plus years of our lives, that is the I made it. Yeah. If I have to make it, I made it. What do you say, Kay?
Well, I was going to say there was a moment, and it's not a I made it moment, but it was like, felt like, wow, we accomplished something. It was early on in the game to know that we left Indianapolis, like on the second week of November in 1988, moved out to LA, stayed at Barham, which was a corporate living, stayed there. We didn't actually get to work on the album until like about the second week in January in 1989. But by the time I think June or July rolled around, we had released our first single, Heat of the Moment. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you hear it on the radio, but the thing that made you feel like, wow, look at this, was that we went from Indianapolis less than a year ago, and by the following summer, we had a video on BET. That's us on TV. And that was kind of a feeling that, when you started doing the music, you never thought about that part of it, but it kind of resonated with me. I don't know about Keith and Melvin, but it was like, hey, less than a year ago, I was at the pharmaceutical company working. Now I'm on TV. What about that? So
how about that?
Yeah. So it was kind of a aha moment for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to say so.
Yeah.
Okay. So Danny, what do you think about that question? Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I'm just now really hopping,
right.
strongly in the game, with platinum recording artists after 7, So I don't know. My aha moment. Wow. It's not that it's that complicated. It's just I've had many, and every time I kind of thank God for each blessing. From I've done some Tyler Perry things. I was featured on a Throwback Holiday, is a BET movie that Daryl Simmons was a executive producer for the music. Mm-hmm. And I've worked for Earth, Wind, and Fire. And now I'm getting my feet wet as a recording artist with After 7. So that's why I'm like, I guess my aha moment always happens. It's not a matter of when it's going to happen or waiting for that big moment. It's just, it's happening right now. Thank you, God. Let's keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well put. Well put. Marvin McIntyre says the first check made it a moment.
That's marvelous. That's
Here you are.
You ain't lying.
Hey, you keep it
Keith, you got to stay back. We can't hear you when you come up real close because I couldn't.
Okay, I said he's keeping it real. That's a saying in Mark.
Yes.
Keeping it real.
So, Georgie Ingram Wren says, I think you made it when you guys went on tour with Whitney Houston.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And John Gripper says, Keith, have you ever thought of doing a YouTube cooking show to share some of those cooking and barbecuing skills?
No.
I mean, I've been on a couple of news shows where I presented a couple of my dishes, but I have talked with actually I spoke with Barack Obama's chef when we were in Vegas about a year ago, and he kind of encouraged me to probably I should sit down and put together a cookbook and get it published. Okay. It's something to consider for sure.
Absolutely. I wouldn't give my secrets away, but yeah.
Oh no.
That would be nice, something to think about. So
Dollar signs.
Luther, who's my partner at the Fans of Unsung page. Keith, give us the backstory to the timeless classic, Baby, I'm For Real.
Oh, the backstory to Baby, I'm For Real was Daryl Simmons came up with that concept and that idea. He thought it was a song that fit the style of the vocalists of the group. And it enabled each one of us to partake in that particular song and have a piece of the song as a lead vocal. And it also, the dynamics of it kind of spoke to what they had developed with the duo between Kevon and Melvin as they put together the After Seven sound. So we came back around on that album. Daryl had that idea, and then he came up with the concept of putting the natural high on the end of the song, which made it very, very different. But we fell in love with that song pretty much from the first time he presented it as a concept and as an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ron, I did see that. Okay.
My apology.
You need a midway toast or whatever.
Well, I'm just trying to get ready. That's all.
Okay, I usually say the toast for the end, but if y'all, we could do a midway if you need one.
I'll be patient.
What is your favorite song to perform on stage? You all can answer that one. Danny, you want to start? You have
by far, Ready or Not. That's my favorite. I can't deny. That's been my favorite song. That's always been my favorite song to sing. So, yeah.
Okay.
I have to say so. It's the one that paid the bills. I have to say.
Okay.
Kept the machine going. So, yes, indeed.
That's a classic. And Keith, what about you? You have a favorite?
I think one of my favorites from today's music would be that If I.
Yeah.
Yes.
That If I, touches me, and I'm sure a bunch of other people in a lot of ways. Just the lyrics of it and the melody is amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing song. It is beautiful. I was saving that to the end, but since you mentioned it, for those of you who haven't heard If I, make sure you go check it out. It's an awesome song. What I loved is I saw some of the videos of it. The sign language, that's the one you're doing sign language on, correct?
Yes.
How that came about. For those of you who haven't seen it, check out the video on YouTube and go ahead and download and support our artists as well. But the video, they are doing sign language to the song. So just talk on that a little bit, because I thought that was beautiful. It added something very special to that live performance.
Wow. I think we thought about something that would really kind of tenderly tell the message of the song. And for us, for Keith and I, it was reminiscent of a song and a performance that we used to do years ago, a song called How Do You Tell the One You Love? And we did sign language on that too, which was it made us think, you know what, it was a beautiful song. It was captivating. And we thought, you know what, why not tell this story? Why not tell the story? And really, that's what songs are. We're telling stories. Just being privileged, an awesome privilege to be able to sing a song, which is a story about someone's experience, somebody's life, something that they're going through, but also tell it in sign language, as opposed to just doing regular choreography. I think it spoke to us in a different way than the rest of the songs on the album that we were performing. Keith, you want to share anything about that?
No, I think that just about covered it.
So do you already know sign language, or did you learn it for this song?
No, we learned it especially for the song. A young lady came in and taught us the
very nice
the sign.
It's beautiful. Very nice. Was it difficult to learn as the sign language? What's that face? Come on.
My face was not for me.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't really do it.
We had to learn it, but it's the difficulty is really no different than learning regular choreography. The regular choreography has your feet involved. Mm-hmm. The sign language is just your hands and some facial expression to go along with it. But it's just connecting the dots, and it happens so fast. Signing, the movements happen fast. Mm-hmm. So it's just connecting those dots. Once that you learn in 8 segments of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, right.
And it's connecting 1 8 to the next 8 to the next 8 to the next 8. So it's repetition. It'll come, and then there's feeling that has to be given. Once you learn the sign, now you got to put you in it and the feeling. So there's passion that's delivered in the presentation. So, mm-hmm. But it's fun though, because the song, what the song is saying is so melodramatic.
Yes.
So the signing adds to it, and then your personal feelings. Yeah,
it really does. And Danny, you have anything you want to add?
Oh,
what was that?
I mean,
was it hard?
So you're saying, was it hard?
Was it difficult for you to learn the sign language?
I mean, for me, it was more when I got with Keith on working on it. He made it easy. He made it easier for me because he's a natural, like he's a natural performer. So it just made it easier for me. Like I just sat in front of him. He'll do it, and I started doing it or whatever, whatnot. Then we video cammed it. I took it home with me, and then we came back to rehearsal a few times. You had to crack the whip, but I got it down. It wasn't that hard. It was just, it made it easy because he was teaching it. So I got it. Yeah.
And I didn't mean to put you on the spot. You thought I was going to let you go on that one. I'm cool. I don't have to answer that. You're like, Dad, she asked me a question. That's all right. So here's a good question. Where did the name After 7 come from? That's from You Be Exceptional. So After 7, where did the name come from? Okay, Kevon's looking at Keith, and Keith's looking at Kevon. You don't know where it came from?
Well, honestly, the song came, the name came from, Face kind of came up with the ideal of it. And the story is simply somebody had called and left a message for him to call him back after 7. And I think just that word after 7 meant something. He threw it at us. For us, it represented, it's a word that's used from after 5 and after 6. When after 5 is a more classy cocktail attire, after 6 is a little bit less formal. And of course, after 7 would be even less formal, more casual. And so our music had a sexy, smooth vibe to it. So we just kind of put the vibe of the music with the thought of an after 7, came up with the concept of casual elegance, and that's what we tried to portray in the presentation and photographs of who we were, and it worked.
Okay, very good. So let me say this, because everybody wants you all to talk about it. We give you our condolences on the loss of Melvin. We know the anniversary was just recently. Can we talk about him a little bit? How it was to go on without him, what it meant, that whole gap, and Danny, some big shoes to fill. And they're asking about his son as well, who was briefly with the group. There's some questions about that. So I just want to make sure we get that in before we run out of time. We're going to have to invite you all to come back probably next month, Black Music Month, because I didn't get through half my questions and they're going so fast. I'm just like, okay. Can we just touch on that if you don't mind?
Sure. First off, I would say, and to be clear, his son Jason, my nephew, was with us for a great deal of time, not just a brief stint, but for a great deal of time. There was a point when my brother Melvin just felt like he was, through with performing. Just didn't feel like getting up on stage anymore. And Jason stepped up and filled in, took that slot and held it down for a considerable amount of time. And for that, we appreciate it, because, it was family. It's always been family.
Yes.
And with regards to recording and everything like that, Keith and I knew that we would probably never, ever record. We never felt like we ever wanted to record again unless Melvin was willing to record. And so finally in 2015, he said, hey, why not? Let's try it. And so that was that was the spearhead of why we were able to come back and do the Timeless record, because we felt like the original members, the original sound was coming together again. And since Jason had such a lengthy commitment with the group, that it's when we said, you know what, hey, let's come on in and let's all four of us create the sound of what would be After Seven. Time passes so fast. And I know that my brother Melvin is in a better place right now. He suffered just a little bit toward the end, but he assured me, he let me know that he was okay with it. And I didn't realize when he was sharing that with me that he thought it was close to that time for him. And it was really just a couple days later that my brother passed. And while he said that to me, I didn't think anything of it, because no matter what, you always feel like you're going to get up and talk to the person the next day. You just always feel that way. And it just didn't occur to me. And it's not till after the fact that you realize that he was preparing me and letting me know, to let everyone else know that he was okay with where he was, and he was ready. He was okay. And so, I mean, that part helped out a lot, but Melvin is missed tremendously. Just his stage presence. I find myself talking to Melvin. I find myself looking back at old footage. So grateful that people recorded us back in the day, because back in the day, that was a dangerous thing for you to do, because someone would not only snatch your tape recorder, take the tape, they might take your tape recorder too, because that was before people had cell phones, and you're not allowed to record this.
That's right.
But grateful that they did, because I get to look back and see and hear, not only hear Melvin, because I hear his music, but to see him deliver live performances. And my brother was just no joke. He was just a natural, a God-given talent. For those of you who did not know my brother Melvin, he, as I said before, he was his own man. He gonna say what he wanted to say the way he wanted to say it. He's gonna do what he wanted to do the way he wanted to do it, and there it is. And so you had to accept the fact that that was the man. But when it came to music and the love that he had for and the sensibility that Melvin had was such a natural. And I commented about this before. Even Babyface, a producer, Daryl Simmons, well-known producers, there wasn't much they could direct Melvin on when he stepped into that booth. What he put down is what became the record. And like I said, I've always said this, and you know, he really kind of set the tone for the sound of After Seven. And you know, we miss him. Just grateful for, you know, all that he's done. You know, we and Keith knows. Keith is bear witness, and Marvin McIntyre is bear witness. We went rounds. Me and Melvin, we went rounds. We all went rounds. We had rounds with each other. But you know, it's part of. There's not a group. There's not a group. It's not a real group if you ain't had some situations, some you know, some blow ups.
Right.
We had our share. We definitely had our share. But in the midst of it all, there was a love and a respect that I think everybody had for each and one another.
That's wonderful.
But you know, I just miss my brother. I miss his voice. I miss our just regular conversations. Not then they have to be about singing, just having conversations. But he's in a better place today. I know that for sure.
Thank you so much for that. Keith, did you want to say anything?
Well, I share a lot of the sentiments that Kevon has spoke on. Dearly missing. He was the soul of the group, and you know, from the inception, you know, everything was to be built around me. I think faces. It's ironic, me knowing the brothers, knowing everybody's skills. It was always funny how each one of them loved the other's voice the most. And I know Face, you know, loved Melvin's voice. Melvin loved Kevon's voice. Kevon loves Face's voice. So, you know, being in the middle of all of that talent and all that sound, it's hard to explain, but I got to experience it. I know these brothers loved each other. It's like oil and vinegar sometimes, you know, it don't mix. But at the same time, the love is still there. The passion is still there. And I've seen them have each other's back. I mean, me and Melvin had fights. Not physical fights, but verbal fights.
Yeah.
Me and Kevon had verbal fights. So like you say, you go through things, but at the end of the day, we had a respect for the music. We had a respect for the opportunity. We never wanted to let Face in LA down. So it's why if you look over the course of our history, you won't find no dirt. And that's because we took it as a business. Yes. Even though it was art, we approached After Seven as business. So every aspect of it was business. And I think for me and Kevon, we respected the business aspect of it. That approach is what you had to have in order for you to be successful. There had to be the business element involved. Melvin's personal preference for the business side of the music, oh no. No, y'all can have that. Just give me the microphone. I'm singing. That's I'm right. Down. So yeah. It's still a group, but you still need somebody doing all those jobs. And you know, we found a way to make it work. And we've been ultimately successful for it. But I feel blessed to have been that. Often they call me like the cream in between the cookie because I've held the thing together. So we appreciate the fans. We're going to continue to give you After Seven. Appreciate your support, your love, and blessings.
Thank you for that. Yeah. And Danny, I don't want to leave you out, but I want to get your no, it's not.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'm playing.
But you have some big shoes to fill. Tell me, from a little different perspective, how does it feel to come in knowing that you are taking an icon's place?
Well, it didn't really hit me until we started rehearsals. And then it really hit me when he passed, because I never got to meet him, so I never got to shake his hand and be like, to at least salute, in a proper manner. But deep down inside, because I know his spirit is with the group, I know that I got to make sure that I'm representing correctly. Not that I'm trying to emulate him, but I'm trying to, I guess my thing is to do the best I can to be the best me. But in the process, it's like, it feels like somebody's looking over your shoulder, like, get it tight, my brother, get it tight. You know what I'm saying? Get it tight. And therefore I stay on my toes, because I don't, deep down inside, I wouldn't want to let somebody like him down. I wouldn't want to let Kevon or Keith down either, but it's just, that's how I'm approaching everything right now. Because I know that's a legacy that is, that's tough. That's a tough mantle to fill, but, honorable at the same time. It's like, I'm empty with words about it, because, I know he was a great guy. So I just know the pressure is on to make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's about representing the brand. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
I love it.
Great. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
His spirit lives on through the group, through all of you. Absolutely. It's a blessing to be able to hear the music and see the videos, as Kevon was saying. So it will live on. It is that time. I'm sorry, we've got to go. I'm going to invite you all to come back next month if you don't mind, because we didn't talk about half the stuff I wanted to talk about.
It sure did go quick.
You come back and see me, please.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I want to close with, first of all, just on behalf of the fans of Unsung and the Unsungeteers and Luther and my business that sponsors this, the Camden Group, I thank you all so much. It was a joy, a pure joy, hanging out with you all for this hour that it really went fast.
You really did.
Thank you.
I want to make a toast. We got to close with a toast, a virtual toast. Oh, before we toast, Danny, you got to do your job. Remember, you got to. Wait, they're ready. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. We got it. One more business thing, because I almost forgot. We got to tell everybody where to follow you, where to find, to download, all that good stuff. Go ahead, Danny.
So on all social media platforms, that's Twitter, that's Facebook, that is IG, that's Instagram. For those of you that don't know the acronym. It is After 7 Music. So at After 7 Music, or Facebook.com/After 7 Music. Twitter, the same thing, at After 7 Music. Please make sure to follow us.
Yes. And we are the Fans of Unsung page. If you're not on our page, feel free to join us, because we have lots of chats with different art. I'm hurry up, Kevon. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, baby. You're fine. You're fine.
So as I was saying, I had to make sure we did that business. I salute you all. Thank you for joining us. We toast to you all for all the years of music. We didn't even get to the anniversary part. We'll talk about that next time, and how long you've been in business. I thank you for joining us. To the people out there, if you want to just say one last thing, those that have been shut in, shut down, lost jobs, lost loved ones, can you just give them just a line or two of encouragement in this broadcast? Can you just say one thing to them to lift their spirits? Would you mind? Whatever you like to say, because we got a lot of people watching. It all started because of COVID-19. So we want to bring some happiness to them.
Well, this is Keith. I just wanted to say that on Saturday, I'm a part of the Joshua Stooks Foundation, and we'll be giving away masks for the COVID-19 virus. And there are several locations around Atlanta. I think you can go to Joshua Stooks Foundation.com's website and get some of those locations where they'll be giving out free masks.
Keith, I'm going to get that from you afterwards so I can put it in a post, okay? The information. Okay, thank you for that.
And I just want to I want to personally just encourage everyone to stay prayerfully strong during this time. It's tough on everybody. It's not just a segment of people. This situation has impacted everybody in some fashion or form. I would just ask that you make safe practices, and be smart about the choices that we make right now. You know, those who you love, your friends, and so on and so forth, because our lives depend on it. And you need to stick around. We need to get on the other side of this. So keep your head up, stay prayerful while we do this.
Amen. Thank you, Kevon. And Danny?
I'm with Kevon. I just hope for everybody to stay prayerful, be mindful of each other with the social distancing. But most importantly, for a lot of people who haven't been spending a lot of time with their families due to pre this whole Corona thing or whatever, now's the time for you to love up, hug up on those that you care for, because you don't know tomorrow. You may know today, but you don't know tomorrow. So, that's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you. Now we can toast. I toast to you, to After 7, to fans of Unsung. Come back and see us. Thank you for your years of music and for joining us this evening. I was going to say, where's your glass at?
I'm not going to drink
sweet tea to all our friends.
Cheers.
I'm staying away from the alcohol.
Whatever you want to toast is fine. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And we're going to do a part 2. We'll let you know when it comes. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And